Here we go. Welcome to Stir Crazy Sailing and Adventures. I'm Dennis. I left a career I enjoyed to pursue the activities that I love, with the aim of single-handing a sailboat from Lake Michigan to the Caribbean. I expect some success and some failure along the way, but that's part of the adventure. I'll also share with you how I try to stay healthy and fit as I go. Having you along will make this trip even more fun. Thanks for joining me. We've left behind Ontario, and there will be places that I'll miss, like Niagara-on-the-Lake. This little chapel is famous, apparently, I've been told, and people do get married here. I know. So if you get married in a small church, should you expect a short marriage? I hope not. As well as some cool people who love Canada, like Wes. It's a silhouette of what?
Temagami.
What's Temagami?
8 hours north of here.
Oh, it's just cool, man. Thank you. New Harken winch handle. It's dragged that I needed it, but it's pretty cool. The lake is flat as my voice on karaoke night, but we're getting a wee bit of wind, and I'm going to put up the sail. We'll motor sail a little bit, see if we can pick up a knot or two. Trying out the hat cam today. We crossed over into the United States from Canada. Really serene lake, wee bit of wind coming from the northwest, and it's helping us maybe 0.3 knots, 0.4 knots. That's something. And just a gorgeous day. I'm glad you are here, and I hope you enjoy the ride. Man, you couldn't find a wave the size of a speed bump out here today. Our journey has taken us through 4 of 5 Great Lakes. Our jump from Niagara-on-the-Lake to Rochester, New York was about 80 miles. I got into Rochester late, checked into customs online, and in the morning was ready to check out the harbor. Rochester has a beautiful waterfront harbor. Rochester has a beautiful harbor. It's got all the modern amenities, restaurants, bars, stuff like that. Kind of reminds me of Putin Bay, Ohio. You can look at the camera and say, you made it extra special.
I made it extra special just the way I would eat it.
Meet Gina.
Is it good?
Yeah, this is custard?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
We've got cotton candy as our special today if you want to try it.
Rochester, New York. Rochester, New York, Harbor Marina, you've got to come to Abbott's and get a banana split.
Get a banana split.
Thank you. I was asked about laundry. Where do I do laundry when I'm out here? This place, Rochester, New York, actually has free laundry, which is cool, up here in what looks very much like anybody's laundry room. I need it. Sometimes putting together a video is easier at some locations than at others. Getting ahead of the game, cooking today. I'm going to toss in some crab cakes. See how these are. I think I can eat them anytime. And the shrimp, feeling like they need to be cooked. The freezer I've turned on and off a few times to preserve battery, and it's time for those. Well, you know how it goes. Maryland style crab cakes. Maryland style. Maryland crab cakes are my favorite. Blue crab from Maryland. Oh man, is that good. Get some Old Bay seasoning all over your fingers and pick apart the crab. That's good. Okay, Let me see. Irresistible crab cakes, Maryland style crab cakes, and these are made where? Oh, these came from Canada. All right, so product of USA. Yeah, we don't really know where they came from. I bought them in Canada. Product of USA. Let's see. Well, I'll just say I never met a meal that I didn't like. Looking forward to getting to Chesapeake Bay. Phillips Crab House remains my favorite boxed, frozen, from the grocery store type. These are great for what they are. I'll save some time. This is the before shot. Before. Okay, and this is the after shot. I know, it looks the same. We don't have time to clean up. We have to get going. Sure, I'm a sailor and I love sailing. There's something to be said for the comfort and ease of a boat like that, of course. But again, you know, that's the RV in the campground, and that is the tent. And I'm damn happy with it. We like to see channels getting dredged. Dredged channels are good. Clipping along at 5.1 isn't bad in a light wind. You can see how the waves are just off of our starboard quarter there. If you were along for the trip across Lake Huron from the Mitten to the Thumb in Michigan, the waves were very much like this, coming from the same direction, but they were a lot bigger, 6-footers-ish. Much more comfortable ride today. Much more comfortable ride today. This is sweet. And we've got better visibility with the camera this season without the bimini. Okay, so our bearing to our waypoint, 76 degrees. Our course over ground is 89. We need to come up, right? And when I get the boat balanced out, the point of this monologue is I'm just going to use the knob to lock off the wheel for a bit and see how well the boat steers itself. If I can get the boat balanced, the sails trimmed right, I can leave the wheel locked without using autopilot for, you know, some period of time where I can go down below, take care of something quickly, and then come back up. Okay, so in these light winds, for me to get the right amount of power in the hull to reduce the effect of the waves on our course, I've had to go up into the wind a little bit more at 60 degrees, which gives us a course over ground of 70. Our bearing that we need to our waypoint is 76 degrees. We're not off by that much. So I'll just take it up into the wind a little bit for speed, for comfort. The boat now finally is dialed in and it's steering itself with the wheel locked off at about 60 degrees. It's been doing that for a couple of minutes, so I'm really happy. And I'll just experiment with this for a while and have fun with it. And I think I've got the sails where they need to be, the wheel where it needs to be, and you, where you need to be, right here, right here. The wind is lightening up, so that means that the effect of the waves is more pronounced, right? It's going to push around the boat a little bit more if we don't have power in the sails from the wind. With the wind dying, time to furl the Genoa. There was plenty of cause for euphoria when making the turn out of Lake Ontario and into the Oswego Canal at Oswego, New York. But that was followed by disappointment upon learning that a lift bridge in the canal was not operating and boats were not leaving marinas that were bound for the Erie Canal. So there was no space for us, and we would have to tie up against Oswego's city wall. Not a bad spot, and fortunately, very close to Riverwalk Pizza with excellent pie. It was an angry sea that greeted us our first morning in Oswego. A rocking and rolling through the night, not a lot of sleep, but not as bad as my friends up front. Those boys are having a serious roller coaster ride up there. You up against the wall? Whoa! Up against the wall. Up against the wall because no room in the marinas. The waves are just rolling in from Lake Ontario, and the breakwall is doing its job, but you know, not perfectly, and that's just the way it is. It's supposed to do this all day. Woo! Leaf in midair. Spiders. Sometimes it's during the most personal of times that we find out that there are boat issues that need to be addressed. Let me explain. This won't be too graphic, but, well, let me just show you. Yeah, I know. So, there's stuff coming in from outside in the toilet water, flushing water. There's an intake, and there's just a lot of matter in there. It's not my fault, but that's because where we are tied up, there's a lot of organic matter in the water. The waste goes to a holding tank, right, in the boat. I've got a couple of those, and they get pumped out. That stuff there is what's being sucked in the flush water. But that's not what's important. What's important is there's an engine intake that uses that same type of water that I just cleaned out. That was on its way to my engine. We don't like that. That's bad. So I went in here, the garage, quarter berth. That's where the strainer is. There's a basket in there. I pull the top off here, unscrew this, pull off the top, pull out the strainer, and you can imagine what it looks like. I took a screwdriver and had to unplug the line going into that strainer. I'm going in on the Erie Canal. Sailboats belong in deep water. We like deep water, keels, wind, all that kind of stuff. But going through the Erie Canal, I will find myself in more of a river type environment. And that's going to come with some additional challenges, and I'm going to have to pay attention. I'm sure there will be multiple opportunities for me to show you how I clean my strainer, because that's exciting stuff. But these are just, again, operational issues that aren't always apparent, but we have to pay attention to make sure that things run right. And running right are good operative words at this juncture, because I was headed over to the fuel dock at Oswego City Marina, where I would get my mast dropped in just a couple of days. I had some fuel to take on and a pump out to take care of. As I approached the dock on my own, I jumped from a greater distance than what I had anticipated and tied off the line in too big of a hurry and not securely. A common and accepted practice is to cleat off a line properly to the boat, leaving the boat in reverse and idling at a low RPM so it will back up against the dock, if cleated properly. That was a close one. That was a close one. Mischief managed. Woo. I just didn't have that line. The spring line's secure enough. Live and learn. Didn't tie my spring line tight enough, and had to dive for the line. It was bad. So I do YouTube. I won't put you on YouTube if you don't want to be. Okay, sounds good. Woo. Mobility matters at times. Good gravy. I'm not proud. It's just a lesson with sharing. Thanks again for hopping aboard and running along. I'll keep you informed as I make my way down the Erie Canal. Based on what you've just seen, what are the chances that you're going to see a 42-foot boat sideways in a canal that is 45 feet wide? I'd say pretty good. I'll see you soon. Thanks again for joining me.